I want to show you again or review with you how to get an image either from the internet, from your digital camera, from uh, taking it off a scanner. You'll get the image from some source and then how to put it together. In this case, I've got these images that I've put together. There's the orange background. I have a picture of a castle that I pulled off the internet and put here across the top. I have what's called a land bridge, or there's a bridge over here with a beam on it, and I put some texture here on the ground, but got some other texture. It makes it look more like dirt because it is dirt, and put it at an angle. And then I have the final main character, the thing in front, the knight riding on his horse. Now, this is the final solution with all of its layers, and eventually the layers will be made flat or flatten out the layers into one image. But I want to go back to the beginning, how this thing comes about. This was the picture I got off the internet. A museum with mannequins on horse mannequins who are trotting around in their fancy armor. If I start the process in Safari, I put up here knights in armor, and I'm in large images. And when I selected it, I found here's the picture I wanted. So click on the thumbnail, it opens up, and then I click on the full-size scale, and I see the full picture. In this case, then hold down the control key and click on the mouse and say save image as, and for some reason it gives a lot of numbers, just say night. And I'm going to go to the desktop, and so I hit save, and off it goes to the desktop. Now, back in Photoshop, I have that picture, and I process it. There it is, and I say image size, and I make it 7 inches by, it comes by ratio to 4 inches, and the resolution at 400. And when I do that, then I get the picture that's there. Now, I don't need the other knight on here, so I'm going to take my rectangular tool, and I'm going to do a little number, make sure I get the horse nose and the horse tail. I'm going to move this up just a touch, make sure I've got not only his nose, but that little armor piece there. And then I say image crop, and that shuts that down until I'm working on just the horse guy. Okay, now with that, I'm going to show you part 2 where I've cut away. I've added another layer here and made it orange, and I've taken my polygonal knife here, and I've gone around, done what's called the quick cut. I'm not cutting an edge yet, but I'm just coming around to cut it so that I can come in later with my zoom tool and start taking the polygonal lasso tool and just carefully going around the thing that I'm working on here is the outline of this knight. I'm working on his hand, and he's holding on to this shaft, and then I'm into the horse's armor. And after I go a little ways, I close on itself, then I hit delete, and I'm breaking it down piece by piece. Now, eventually you get to the point where you've gone all the way around the horse and cut him all up to the point where everything's gone. The shaft is a little short here because of the way the picture was taken. The shaft wasn't there. So I enlarged the background. I went to the layer, this orange layer, and in image I said canvas size, and I pushed it up. It was 7, and I went to like 10 inches and hit this so that the arrows are showing it's going to go up in the space, and it did. And then I added more. There was some space here where there wasn't any color, and I hit the command delete key, put the background color into the area there, and then finished building his lance all the way out here to the end, and then put a metal tip on the edge so that now he's got a full lance riding on his horse. Now, I needed that image from the castle, so I went on the internet under castle and I found a picture of a castle. Actually, this is sort of a painting, I guess. But it's a nice image. And so I brought that out and processed it. So I went to image image size, and I made it 7 by 5:3. It came with its ratio and 400. So it's both images are now in the same 400 DPI category. And then finally, I put this together when I showed you to begin with turning off all the, there's the background that is high enough to get the lance in, and I wanted a vertical background or format anyway. And then I brought it over the castle, brought in the land bridge, put in stuff that looks more like dirt, and then brought in the finished cutout knight. And that's the process to bring it over into your working area, Photoshop. And when you're cutting something out for a project, you're going to find the object, and then, however simple or difficult it is, cut it out with the lasso tool. Now, I use a polygonal lasso. There are 2 other lasso tools, but I don't find them very accurate. It takes longer, but if you're going to do it right, I don't know, do it right. And that is the end result. Then is the layers, and eventually it'll be flattened out, and away we go. So when you make stuff for me, I'd like to have you do that. Eventually come in here and say flatten image, and there it is flat, and then save it again, file, save as, and whatever name you gave it to start with, put an F on the end of it so that you know that's a flat image. And you may or may not leave it Photoshop. It might be that you send this to as a JPEG, so it's a lot more compressed, and then when you see the JPEG there and save it, it's now at high resolution here, the 12 image maximum on the JPEG choice, and you OK that, and now you have a flattened JPEG. This I could email. This I could send to a printer via electronic maintenance someplace. But this puts all these images together then to form the image, the picture, the total picture I want in Photoshop. And I want you to see this review. We've talked about some of this before, but I want you to see it again as you proceed with the upcoming projects that we're working on.